So the only thing left is to finish the process. What happens spiritually trickles down physically. When I talk about Inky and Enlil, I'm really just talking about frequencies of energy that deals with understanding how structure work in conflict. So they become tools of learning. But when you give them a noun, person, place, or thing, people tend to grasp the concept that's attached to it easier. So I read it as energy, but other people read it as a novel.
Got you. And that makes sense because shout out to Arisha Stone. Had a dope conversation with him the other day too, man. We was talking about this today, actually, off air, but we were talking about how the significance of knowing like about what's a good being or a good person, a good energy and entity versus what's a bad. Because I think a lot of times, especially now, a lot of us, especially us, because we've been through so much pain and trauma, you know, with racism and
we lost trust in each other more than we did in other people.
There you go. And that's where I wanted to tap into about how the significance of energy and frequency is, because it's not a skin thing now. Not at this point. It's way beyond that. Now it is strictly, you know, primarily a energetic frequency thing, especially when you talk about mama getting rid of the parasites and having her cycle and flushing all that foolishness out of here. So with that, how does that correlate to where we are in regards to how we're living our experience, like in regards to like the karmic, you know, attributes that come back and forth with what we do in regards to karma, our habits, whether we drinking and smoking and fucking all the time and not, you know what I'm saying, working on elevating our frequency. How does that tie into?
Think about this. If you got anything you do, you're supposed to do. If you got, somebody can't tell you God and put restrictions on your God expression. Just because a person may have a vice, don't make him any less of a God. And just because a person is homeless, sleeping on Skid Row or under the subway, that don't make them any less God. They just pauper gods. And the pauper guys is the one that no longer want to play in the shenanigans of the charade because they see through the cracks in the game and they know what's going on, but everybody think they crazy. So rather than play the game and try to change everybody's mind, they just refuse to participate. And we call them homeless. Those are pauper guys. You still there, bro?
Yeah, I'm here. That's deep. I'm trying to pull up. I'm pulling up some. I'm trying to pull up some images of the bureau, and some of the like the Crystal City and some of the, you know, some of the crafts and things that we're talking about to kind of give a visual. But I got to convert them from
the Crystal City is called a jumper ship. It's a royal jumper ship. Right? It fit inside of another bigger craft called a mothership. The Crystal City is big, but it's just a jumper ship. And it's all bedazzled because it was made for the royal family of Nibiru. And when it lands, it's going to land on Emerald Lake. I think it's in Colorado or Montana. That's where it's going. That's where it's scheduled landing at. The county that's shaped like a Liberty Bell.
Yeah, that's deep. That's really
Remember,
deep.
Dorothy was looking for Emerald City. But she wasn't looking for Emerald City. She was looking for a Crystal City. She just didn't know that it sits on the Emerald Lake. And this is what happened if you follow the yellow brick road. Follow the gold.
That's deep because I was able to get one. Let me make sure it's the right one. I was able to get one converted in time. So now you said, and I'm glad you said, what you said, the Emerald Lake, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so now I'm gonna share.
I immediately thought about riding. I'm like, where does Rod come up with this shit? He be saying shit. And I be like, and y'all be hearing me. I be like, yo, Rod, man, I'm not buying what you selling, Rod. I ain't going for that one. Rod be like, all right. He like the big brother. He be like, all right, I'm telling you. But Rod kept talking about Larry Hoover, and I want to know what's the connection right now with Trump doing what he's doing with that. Why would he do that? And we're gonna have a good connection tonight. Yeah, commute, not pardon, yeah, but it's coming. Yeah, Rod's gonna get into all of that, as well as other things. There's something, a lot of things brewing. So with that being said, Rod, man, welcome back to the show, my brother.
Thanks, brother Rich. Kind of remind you of the Crip Walk thing I was talking about. The next thing you know,
Same thing. I'm like, why is this dude? I'll be saying that a lot about Rod. I'm like, why does this dude keep talking about this? And then boom, it's in the news months or a year later, and I'm like, oh shit, wow, this dude really know what the fuck he be talking about. So let's start the show out, Rod. Why did President Trump do what he did? I've heard a lot of speculation. A lot of people are happy. A lot of people said it's just, a symbolic gesture. He's not coming home. That's just some shit to make the people happy and not do nothing at the same time. What's your thoughts on why Trump did what he did? What's the spiritual reason, the mundane reason? Let's have a talk about this, Rod. What's going on with this? Because you're the man who's been talking about Larry Hoover since you came on my show the first time.
yeah. So the thing being is this: Larry Hoover is an actual blood chief on the land with rulership rights from his mother's land. His wife, Winnie, is his tribal mother. She's the tribal mother for the nation, right? But the government and COINTELPRO initiated activities to disrupt the natural formation of the tribes and to interrupt the unity practices right. So when you see him tell Larry to give Larry some relief, he say what he did it for. He said there was a petition, and he said there was public outcry, right? And then he gave another reason, but I forgot the other reason. But he commuted sentence. He can't give him a full pardon because he still have a case pending in the state of Illinois that operate by different legal standards than the Fed, right? They want the governor of Illinois to give Larry a pardon, but the smartest thing I think would be to petition the parole board based on the commutation as the underlying element to lobby for a special consideration parole review. I wouldn't go in trying to get the governor because the governor beefing with Trump, so that'll end up making Larry a political tennis ball, right? In the back and forth between the governor of Illinois and Trump. So we don't want him to be the underlying proper noun in their game of tennis. The parole board only grants special considerations under what they call compelling circumstances, right? By Trump issuing his commutation, then that is a compelling circumstance that if the president issued him reprieve, then the parole board should consider an immediate parole release. But I don't know how his family want to pursue it, his immediate family. But I just think that would be the smartest path to take, smarter than trying to get a governor at war with a president that gave him some air and he become part of their political jargon, their political back and forth. So now what we're looking at is he can be home as soon as 90 days.
Wow.
Right? But the problem being is, what avenue will the family think would be the most intelligent? Now, spiritually, just the work for Larry to come home in the spirit realm been done already. right? And it's a lot of people that's gonna follow him out. He's gonna be like the Pied Piper, or locked up people coming home,
Mm-hmm.
right? And this gonna have certain effects that's gonna reverberate through the communities. And a lot of these kids that's just out here with their switches, acting like they ain't got no senses, they gonna want to be like, wait a minute, and they gonna want to know his story. His story's supposed to inspire them to unify, because that's what he really got locked up for. Him, Jeff Ford, David Barksdale, the main 21 of the Peace Zones in the top tier growth and development. You know, we don't remember when the Dan Ryan was being built and all of the so-called gangs didn't want the highway running through the middle of the city, so they formed what's called the LSD Alliance, right? And then they all came to protest the building of the Dan Ryan. Well, they built it anyway because they have no regard for the tribes, because we don't have contracts with them. This is why Larry in there in the first place. We don't have contracts with them. We classify as foreign dependent nations. I don't even know what the hell that means, right? We ain't never gonna be foreign on the soil that we sprang from. That don't even make sense. They call us Indian combatant nations. It's another name they use for us, right? They use outlaw tribes because when they established their constitutional law, we wasn't part of it. Never been part of it. But they using their overreach of constitutional jurisdictional authority, a subject matter, to override the territorial jurisdiction, right? Which is the law of the land. So they use the admiralty jurisdiction with no regard for the law of the land. That's a tsunami. Right? So, but the more we inform, as consciousness of the people raised to what's going on, that's going to be the catalyst for more and more people that's going to be an asset to the community to get some air from being a prisoner of war on their own homeland. We don't know the police is a foreign military. We think that they that they supposed to be here. They're not supposed to be here. It's an appointment position for the chief of police. Nobody with that much power is supposed to be appointed. It's too much power. Y'all got all of the guns. Y'all control the armory of the town. Y'all supposed to be elected by the people in the town. You're not supposed to be appointed. That's why you got sheriffs. Sheriffs are elected law officials. You ain't supposed to be appointed to law. What's supposed to happen is the mayor is supposed to request a deputy lieutenant if you have what they call a high crime district to put a deputy sheriff, a lieutenant deputy sheriff over the town and give them more resources, and then it comes out of the city's coffers. But instead of doing that, they hiring a foreign mercenary military from overseas, and we wondering why they keep shooting people in the back. They sensationalize and race bait with police assassinations. But when you go really start digging, they equal opportunity murderers. They will kill anybody. They worse than the gang, because the gang, most of the gangs, when they kill somebody, it's considered a rival gang. The police is a foreign military, and they could shoot you down black, white, or otherwise, because they are enforcing the war codes of the interim government. The interim government can't go until the tribes figure out why they here, right? The lawman that was with birthright to enforce the law of the land, they locked him up right behind Larry, Jeff Ford. He's supposed to be the law of the land. He's supposed to be the one organizing the red houses. When you went to wear the red war bonnet, that's a war regalia. And those who represent the one who wears the red bonnet, war bonnet, that leads his troops, which is Angel Bay, Jeff Ford. Larry is the spokesperson, the diplomat. He was supposed to be negotiating terms of agreements between other chiefs on the land. Well, they was locking them all up. And that was their worst mistake, because now you got all of the chiefs sleeping in the cell next to each other. And they can create treaties spiritually and physically among themselves to change the condition of the collective. It's up to the collective to get them the required support. Like yesterday, Lil Larry did a video. He was asking them to stop putting the pitchforks and the 6-point stars, because to the government, that's promoting what they call criminal behavior. And they kept doing it. But you got to remember, the feds pay out the DEA, FBI, CIA, and the police. They pay more money. They pay enough money in the snitch program to get us out of poverty. Oh, they give it snitches. They got paid informants that make damn near $100,000 a year. But they grew up in our community. We all seen them, but we didn't know who they was. You know, the one that ain't never sold a bag. All of a sudden, he got all this money, getting all the same stuff the drug dealers getting. Right, but he don't sell nothing. But he always up under the one selling. Or if he's into the stick-up game, he ain't never robbed nobody, but all he do is hang out with the stick-up crew in the hood. And he got just as much money as them, but he don't do what they do. Where he getting his money from? They showed us, and Lawrence Fishburne showed us in Deep Cover how they operate. We got to remember, what was the one with Arnold Schwarzenegger, Raw Deal, where they went and got a remote sheriff and sent him into town to be a gangster in order to get revenge for the dude that shot the police chief daughter or some stuff, right? Then he had the show called Wise Guy, right? And in this show is almost the same as Deep Cover, but it's a series. And it's a dude that's trying to infiltrate the mob. They sitting there giving us all of the tools that they, or all of the mechanics of how they infiltrating us, but we not paying it no attention because we too busy struggling under the pain of poverty and the struggle to get out the hood. The struggle was never to get out the hood. We weren't trying to get away from each other. We was just trying to find opportunities from where we was so that we couldn't be looked down on as a pariah of society. Right? They turn around and they start turning the clans against each other under their chief. The chief's like, why are they not listening to me? Larry and Jeff been friends since teenagers, right? They all know the Vice Lord leadership, Benny Lee and all them. They know all of them. They've all sat down and broke bread trying to figure out how to unite the youth. And then somebody in the mix of them is always an antagonist, a provocateur, right? The provocateur do the crime and they try to lure other people into it. But when it's time for the crime to be effectuated, everybody they recruited there, but they ain't there. Right? They just sent everybody to go to commit this crime, and then they dip. They strategies haven't changed. Right? But right there in the United States Code say that if the government creates a condition of a crime, right? Or creates elicits a person to commit a crime, right? Then that person is not guilty by what they call entrapment. Now, most of us don't know COINTELPRO was designed to take the leadership, the natural leadership, because we can always gravitate toward us as opposed to politicians in Washington. We're not going to look up to nobody in the capital of the state for a remedy for our problems. We're going to look from somebody that came from where we at grew up with us to come with the solution, and they knew this. So what do? Every child that shows promise, especially the boys, because they normally lead the war cause. If the boy look like he can organize, get rid of him. If he look like he can educate and inform, get rid of him. If the people look like he's the most loved, most respected, get rid of him. You have to find a way to get rid of him. Always try to get rid of him. Can't let him have a leader. J. Edgar Hoover wrote in the mission statement of the COINTELPRO that they purpose. The mission was to stop the rise of any potential messiah who could incite the masses. We don't have messiahs over here, right? Messiahs came from a different culture. We had different leaders over here, but they looked like everybody else because we didn't have the separation in the families where my family better than yours. We used to play the dozens, but that was for fun, right? But we didn't really have in our heart that my family is better than yours. Is that how can my family and your family make more out of abundance out of life? That's why they broke up Black Wall Street. That's the principle. Right? It's the principle. You can't allow the oppressed to understand what the oppressor is doing that keeps them oppressed. What is the tools of oppression being used to tie your hands, your feet, and bind you to their cross? If you don't understand it, there's no way you can help yourself, let alone somebody else. So some of us, Larry say, some of us got to hit the books. We ain't gang banging no more. We brain banging because as he matured as an individual and self-educated and self-imprisoned, it dawned on him that the conditions, we wasn't educated enough in our community to see the conditions and to read the strategy being used against us. We didn't understand warfare. We didn't understand political paradigms. We didn't understand conquest and conquering mechanisms of power from kings and queens because everybody over here was a no big I know you philosophy. And if we had a problem with each other, we ran that fade, but didn't nobody die. Now they die off the basic misunderstanding you could think of. Right? Why you step on my shoe? Remember what Ice Cube wrote? Us will always sing the blues because all we care about is hairstyles and tennis shoes. And if you stepped on mine, you pushed a button because I'm going to beat you down like it ain't nothing. Killing each other like savage beasts. But I'm the first one to holler out peace, black man. Think about that for a minute.
Yeah.
Ice Cube told us that, and he was like 22, 23 when he told us that. If that. So how well did that teenage boy understand the problem to be able to put it in song format to express it to us? Right? And this is all done by outside interference. And this all traced back to the underlying cause to Larry being locked up, Jeff being locked up, Imam Al-Amin being locked up, Asada being in exile. It's all the same.
But Rod, I was just about to ask you. That was going to be my next question. Why do you think Trump keeps calling, black people get happy? Anything Trump do, Trump supporters, they the biggest dick riders I ever seen in my life. But Trump keeps saying he wants Asada. He wants to bring Asada back to the States. Why you think he keeps talking about Asada? Cuba ain't letting Asada go. Why does Trump keep talking about
Cuba not holding her hostage. Cuba not holding her hostage. The problem is if they want Asada to come home, everybody write to Governor of New Jersey and say, give us pardon Asada. Just like they want all these people in the Fed to be pardoned by Trump, but ain't nobody's really speaking up for Asada Shakur. You had a few people that understood the struggle. Got a song about Asada. Pac talked about her in a couple of songs. But the reason why you want people to continuously mention the name of a person that suffers an injustice, so that you can establish justice on behalf of the person that was done unjustly. Somebody got to be able to tell the story of Asada Shakur, and who better to tell the story than Asada Shakur? She the best person to tell the Asada Shakur story. I could tell her story. Pac could tell her story. Biggie can tell her story. Mobb Deep can tell her story. NWA can tell it. The best person to tell Asada Shakur story is Asada Shakur, and they don't want her telling her story. But now that the old system, because remember, the last 8, 9 years we've been going through continuity of government since the first Trump administration, right? We got to remember, Obama is a foreigner. He's not from here. And he wasn't born here is why the birth certificate even mattered. Because constitutionally, when he took office, that was the end of America. America had been successfully conquered by a foreign outside force. They tried to kill him for it. Did Gregory tell the story about Petraeus and how Petraeus got arrested trying to assassinate Obama? But he ain't tell you what it was about. Obama looked like us, but he not one of us. He one of them boys from Brazil, from the Nazi breeding program, and they got more than one of them.
I think you told me something about Akhenaten, right? They breed.
Yeah, that's who money they took cells from to culture the cells and reproduce a pharaoh that they thought could pull rank on the boy king. You're not gonna do that. It's a hierarchy of enforcement in the tribal ways around the world. All tribes was put into the game and under Sukarno during the Bang Dong conference. All tribes was activated then. We didn't have no answer for white supremacy before the Bang Dong conference. Now we had an answer for it, but everybody not applying the answer. Or else it wouldn't have took us from the 1950s Bang Dong conference to the 2020s in order to determine how to break free. Nobody's paying attention. Everybody's trying to live their own individual life, but it's the sacrifice of the community. And then by sacrificing the community to live your life, you end up getting sacrificed by the community for living your life. So it's the two double-edged swords cutting both ways.
Yeah. I want to read you because I want to post this. I want to wait. Hold up. Let me text my lady back. Give me 1 second. I want to read you because I want to read you some comments from Instagram and TikTok, and I'm gonna take this answer. What you answer with this, I'm gonna take it and I'm gonna post it on Instagram and TikTok as a clip because majority of us on this channel, we know what the deal is. These people that's commenting, making certain remarks, they may not be privy to the same information as the people on this channel. So I just want to let you know how some of the masses may think when they hear about Larry Hoover. Hold up. Give me a second, family. Larry Hoover is a man who should have never been pardoned. Another comment: black men who contribute to the delinquency of their communities always get so much love, but God forbid a woman is a stripper or entertainer or speaks up against the speaks up about abuse. Next comment: we have to understand how the system works so we can recognize performative acts with the agenda to appease our people. Trump can only pardon at a federal level. Hoover still has life with the state. So at the end of the day ended with the same result as yesterday. Next comment: no, we got to stop glorifying gang leaders that contributed to the detriment of our community. Next comment: He was a gangster that contributed to the demise and destruction of his own black community. Let's not do this. Crawl, and they said Chance, because that's the person. Chance the Rapper made a post about him, defending him. So they said, Chance, crawl back into the hole you came out of. Next comment. Meanwhile, grandma Medicaid is being taken away, but NBA is back. Y'all so celebrity obsessed. Next comment. Y'all acting like he's Fred Hampton or something. This is ridiculous. And this is going to be the last comment I read, and you could make your response. And like I said, I'm going to post this for people who may not be privy to the information on people in this as the people on this channel. Indeed, he was a no. Where was it? Hold up, y'all. All right, I'm gonna end it there because I don't see. I'm gonna see it there. What do you think about those comments on Instagram and TikTok?
It shows how either those people are not our people and don't understand our culture, or they've been successfully indoctrinated by the assimilation system that Garvey warned us about. Because once you believe that the system is working in your interest, anybody that they villainize is going to be your villain, and anybody that they make a hero is going to be your hero. This is how we get caught up in celebrity worship, as one of the comments was about celebrities. The celebrity worship is they give us celebrities in place of leadership. So we had a bunch of children in the 80s called rappers that came out as children and told us about leadership in music. So they had to shut it down. These people has waged a war against us, and propaganda warfare is more powerful than bullets and gun warfare. Because under bullets and gun warfare, you can clearly see the enemy busting at you. But when you go into propaganda warfare, your enemy controls the media, your enemy controls the banking system, your enemy controls the education of your child, that your enemy controls your entertainment, right? Your enemy controls where you're going to work, if you're going to be able to stay there. Your enemy control all political arenas from the local level to the federal level and everything in the middle. Your enemy has placed admiralty judges across the land to give you the appearance of legitimacy. Your enemy has put uniforms on and flooded the community because they foreign agents. They have to clearly identify themselves. If you don't understand none of that stuff, then you speaking presumptuously without knowing why you feel the way you feel. The only reason why you don't know that you've been indoctrinated